Let me give you an update on Schmidtchens. I can never get that one right. But let's go take a look at the workbench, what I've been doing. Been busy today, got a lot of things done, as you can see right back here. So let's take a closer look at it. I've been sanding away at the windows and doors. Well, here's all the windows and doors laid out after I cut them off the sprues. You can see the sprues right here, and the tools that I use to cut them and file them down. So now it's time to put it on the yardstick and get it ready to paint. I arrange all the windows on the yardstick, prepping them for painting. I first go over it with a gray primer, and then my final coat was with modern white. And then I lightly went over it with a flat black to give it a older look. While waiting for the paint to dry, I also worked on the stone foundation, soaking it in warm water, trying to flatten it out, as you can see on the counter here, but I had no success with that. I got the roofing material ready to paint. The rolled tar paper was in black, and the shingles and the shingle trim was matte river rock as seen here. The back part of the structure took some time to assemble because of its odd shape and configuration, with an inserted dock doors, and as you can see here in the photos, it's hard to explain. But then again, trying to flatten out the stonework. I have some of the windows installed on the lower level that sits on top of the stone wall. As you can see here, there's two different ones, and I got the side corner posts in there, which is modern white. This side is covered with the previous section that I showed you, so no corner post went in there. Here's the shed and the rafters that I put in there, and I had to cut back the end rafters to clear the supports on the inside, like you can see here on this one here on that side. And let me flip it over to the other side so you can see the other one. There you go. Here is a better view of that back part of the building. As you can see, the offset in there, and I had to shave down some of the pieces because they were oversized just to make it square in there, and I had to bevel a lot of the edges because of you could see the odd shape on there. And I used super glue after using the Aleene's glue. The super glue helped to hold it in place, make the thing a little bit stronger. Taking the roof off, you can see a better view of it, but I'm going to have to go back over it because you can see in a couple of places where it needs a little touch up because the edges of the panels don't have the color on it. So I'll cover up the signage that I currently have on there and go back over it with the yellow paint that I have. Gunsmith on Sight was from an old Yellow Pages ad that I pulled from the Yellow Pages several years ago. I would just happen to look in my stash and found it. Boy, was I lucky to find that in there. The stone wall gave me many problems because it was warped, and I finally resolved that by using a heat gun to straighten it out. A little heat goes a long way. I had to go back and forth about 20 to 30 seconds with the heat gun to get it soft, and then laid it flat on the floor and use the top side of the anvil to straighten it out. This wall I had to reheat because of the way it flattened out. It put a curve in it, so I had to turn it around the other side and flatten it out the other way. And then it finally worked. I broke this part of the wall about 3 or 4 times already, trying to adjust things around and get the structure on top of it. So I'm going to have to get some epoxy to strengthen the bond on there, and make sure I don't break it in the meantime, because it's still a little bit crooked, so I might have to put a little bit more heat on that to straighten that part out. Yeah, I'm trying to test my fate here and see if it'll bend out, but with no luck. I'm going to have to do that another time. So here is everything as of late Friday night, and what I didn't show you is the tar paper roof right there in flat black, still on the tape. And let me scoot over to the shingles. I think it's called River Rock. There's 2 sheets there, and the inside parts. Yeah, you can see it right up here. Here is my heat gun and the sanding block that I had to use quite extensively here, because I had to bevel a lot of the edges on this part of the building, as you can see right there. All those I had to sand down patiently. I keep all my windows and doors on the tape just so I don't lose them. They're very easily blown away. And here's a closer look at the windows, where I put the black spray paint lightly over top of it to give it a older look, but I don't know. I'll have to try something else out on this right here. I did a little distressing on these signs right here, but I did a better job on this one here, where I made it look a little bit older, and I put a beech nut sign that I also found in my stash. Once this is assembled, I'll be able to go over it a little bit further with more weathering. So I went out today and got some JD Weld and did the corners on this stone wall, which helped out a lot. And that's what I'm waiting for it to dry right now, so I could put the structure on top of it and won't be afraid to break the walls off again. Well, I have to take a break and things like edit this video while the epoxy gets hard and move on to the next steps. So I'm going to have a lot more on this build. It's starting to get good. It's starting to get exciting what I have to do on this so far. So keep looking for more videos on this kit, and I'm not going to try to say it again. So until the next time, we'll see ya, and have fun with those kits.